because I really enjoy your podcast, the Mental Illness Happy Hour, and we'll talk about that towards the end. But one of the thoughts that you brought up were, on your Twitter feed from one of the episodes was that the more difficult it is to talk about, the more valuable it is for people to hear it. And I want to just delve deeper into that because I really think, speaking about it and speaking about it in a more meaningful way can really help the cause. But maybe you can explain it in from your experience and your thoughts on it.
Well, I discovered it in support groups, and support groups were a big inspiration for me starting the podcast because they helped me with my drinking and drugging. And I thought that sense of community in just sharing stories with each other was so healing and entertaining to me. I thought, well, why can't we do this around mental illness? I'm not going to present myself as a solution for anybody. I'm don't imagine myself as a guru, a person with the answers, but what I can do is I can facilitate conversations. And the hope is that it can bring comfort and maybe even entertain people who are feeling alone, afraid to ask for help, thinking that they're terminally unique and that there's no hope for them. Because I knew what it felt like to be that person that was close to suicide. By the time I finally asked for help, I was thinking about suicide 20, 30 times a day. It was my exit door that was always in the back of my mind. And it just felt like it was getting closer and closer. So starting the podcast was a way for people to see that modeled, people opening up, people talking about the things that are difficult to talk about. One of the things that shocked me in support groups was how awesome it feels when somebody tells a fucked up story and we all roar with laughter because we've all been there, and we can laugh because it's behind us. That is one of the greatest things about being in a support group is the camaraderie of shared experiences. Our experiences might not be the same externally, but internally, our experiences are the same. Shame, regret, frustration, grandiosity, self-pity. These are all things that I began recognizing as other people shared their stories. So I wanted to create that by talking about mental illness because I'd gotten fooled by my depression again. I'd gone off my meds in 2010 and wanted to kill myself, and suddenly realized, oh my God, this is the depression coming back. How the fuck did I get fooled by this? I've been in therapy and seeing a psychiatrist and sober and talking about my feelings all day long. And I believe depression is a real thing. Think about all the people out there that don't even believe that mental illness is a real thing, that you just need to pray it away. I thought they are up against incredible odds at ever truly facing the reality of their mental battle. And I thought, a podcast would be a really good medium because you can make an episode as long as you want. Nobody's going to censor it. We can have fucked up jokes in it. We can make it as dark as we want. We can make it as light as we want. But more than anything, it's going to be honest. It's going to be honest. And for some people, it's a little too heavy. There are episodes where they're just like, man, I had to turn it off. That was just too heavy. And I'm like, okay, I get it. There's times that I wish I could turn it off. And that's why I started taking Julys off a couple of years ago. But sorry, I'm going off on tangents. That's where I realized the support groups was where I realized the power of speaking the difficult.
Yeah. It sounds liberating, if nothing else.
Yeah, it was.
I through my experience, hosting this podcast, and I suppose by extension my mental health journey as well, is that at the end of the day, I think we are all uniquely common, you know. Our
That's such a great way
experience,
of putting it, Nick.
yeah.
Uniquely common. Oh, I
Yeah,
love that. I'm so stealing that.
sure, go ahead. Yeah.
You will get 0 credit.
It's okay. I'll stalk your Twitter and say, hey, that's me. No, but feel
Block,
yeah.
block.
But yeah, but feel free to use it.
Yes.
It's true because we all have these like unique experiences, but the theme and the emotions and the insecurities and the fear and all of that are common, and so while the stories may differ, it shouldn't hinder us from sharing it, because people can still appreciate the overall sense because they've experienced it before. And so, I think I'm glad that there are people like you who do what you do, because you not only do you share your story, but you encourage other people to share theirs. And that's, I think, is the most important thing.